Ciao ragazzi. Hello, everybody. It's the 31st episode of TMG Podcast, a very special edition. We've never done this before. A pre-match TMG podcast before a big European night in England. To start it off, we're bringing on a very special guest from All for United, Joe. Joe, thanks for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Hey guys, thanks so much for having me on. This is unbelievable. I'm just like a little white circle on a screen. This feels great. I've lost so much weight.
Hey, you have a great face for it. Great face.
Charm.
And then we're also here with TMG Mike. Mike.
Happy to be back. Second podcast in a row. So
no, yeah, Mike. Honestly, man, I'm actually surprised that you're back on the show. Usually you do one show and then you're not back for another 4 years.
Hey, listen, I can't pass up a match like today, like Milan versus United. It's a battle of the devils, right in the Old Trafford. True. So you can't miss these type of things, you know.
No, it's true. It's true. You know what? Let's get right into it, guys. Obviously, it's funny because when the draw was going to happen the night before, I kind of said to a United friend of mine, I said, man, like imagine United and Milan, like they match up this. I mean, I kind of wish they didn't match up this early in the Europa League. I think that the competition deserves, a semifinal or something like that, because you look at the other matchups around the Europa League and it's like, wow, Milan and United are the only good matchup, really. Look, you look at like, there's Arsenal's playing Olympiacos. Like, okay, Olympiacos could do something, but obviously Arsenal are the favorite. Roma's got Shakhtar and Tottenham has Dynamo Zagreb. Like, it kind of upsets me that these two great teams, and with really rich history, have to match up this early. Joe, what do you think about it?
I agree, and it's like there's nothing you can really do about it. It kind of shows the way the clubs have fallen over the last couple of seasons, I guess, maybe the last 10 years or so. I know Milan are doing a lot better now. They're top of the league and stuff like that, and so they're on an upward spiral. United are kind of getting better, but it's going to be a longer road. But I don't actually think there's even a tie in the Champions League that has as much luster and there's probably much interest around the world as this one.
No, there's not. It's true. It's true. Honestly, it is.
Especially that it has such a historic value as well, right? Of course, we can date back to the early 2000s of when, both United and Milan are going up against each other in the famous nights of both Old Trafford and San Siro back in the day, right? With obviously the immense legendary names on both sides. So I think it's a lot for obviously both the United fan and the Milan fan, a bit of history and reminiscing, but I also think for football fans in general, I think it's just kind of a classic night, a classic matchup that you kind of seems to like miss out. Like I don't know, like I know it's kind of hard. I guess Joe, you could touch on this as well. Like United been in the Champions League more than Milan recently over the last couple of years, but in theory we're kind of in the same boat. I don't know, maybe this is selfish and I hope I'm not sounding selfish, but I feel like back in the day there was just in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, there's kind of just like this aura of the Champions League and like the huge matchups in the quarterfinals, the semifinals, the juggernauts going up against each other. Where I'm happy if an underdog team like a Leipzig or like a Porto or someone makes it really far because it's a great underdog story. But I don't know, maybe just because Milan hasn't been in it. Maybe correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but it just doesn't have that same taste to it. Whereas in a Europa League, what is this round of 16 matchup? Both Milan and United are bringing like a whole new buzz, and it's a Europa League. It's kind of crazy. It speaks volume to both clubs' histories.
I think I think like you said, Mike. This match, obviously, I think there's gonna be a lot of viewers around the world, just like neutral football fans. Milan, Manchester United. That's just two names that you just can't miss. It's can't miss TV. And obviously, we're gonna touch on this in a while, but both sides have some important players missing, which kind of stinks. And I hopefully for the second leg next week, some of those players can return. I'll just go through them right now. Like, so on Manchester United side, De Gea's out. Cavani's still out. Van de Beek is still out. Mata's out. Rashford's out, and Paul Pogba's out. Joe, I don't think I missed anybody there, am I?
No, I think that's everyone.
Yeah.
I have the lineup here in front of me.
Yeah, I think they just released them.
Yeah. It's we got Henderson in goals, which was expecting that.
Yeah.
It's a fairly strong lineup. It's kind of what lineup I expected as well. Henderson in goals, Wan-Bissaka, by Maguire, which I think is great having them two pairing together. Tellez, which is a bit of a surprise. I thought Shaw would have been playing, but he's not even. Oh no, he's on the bench. McTominay, Matic, James, Fernandez, Greenwood, and Martial.
Mm-hmm.
So like all things considered, it's a very strong lineup and it should be good enough. But we'll just have to see how it goes.
Yeah, I think United have obviously United have more depth than Milan do, and like with Milan, like I'll tell you right now, like not to make excuses before the match, but this lineup is extremely depleted. Like obviously, and I wouldn't. I mean, anything could happen. It's football, right? But like just for example, with Zlatan out, that's already a huge loss. So he's our only really true number 9. He's out.
Yeah.
And Ante Rebic, he usually plays on the left side. He's out. And then we have Hakan Çalhanoğlu, who's been playing the football of his life over the past 12 months. He's our number 10. He's out. And then we have also Ismail Benacer, who's in the midfield, who, again, he had kind of an injury-riddled season, but very, very important to Milan's midfield. He's also not playing. And, of course, we have Mario Mandzukic, who we signed in January, who's been injury-riddled since he arrived. And so it's kind of scary, but the only striker or center forward that we have playing today is Rafael Leao, who's starting. And there's legitimately no replacement. The replacement is a guy from the youth team, the Primavera team, on the bench. So and Leao, and just Leao's not actually a true number 9. He's more of a secondary striker or on the wing kind of guy. So it's kind of difficult to look at this Milan lineup and think that it can make a lot of noise. Like, I'll be completely honest with you. And like even on the bench, like United have 2 or 3 more players on the bench than Milan do. Like we just don't have a bench. Even Romagnoli, who was called up, our captain, he was called up for the match. He's called up, but he received the knock. He's not even on the bench. So he's also
no.
Yeah. So we don't really have much here. Like to put it in perspective, on the bench we have 0 attacking options. Like so, basically, our attackers are going to be asked to play 90 minutes today. Unless we put on a guy who's 18 years old and never played in a professional match in his life. So I don't think we're going to do that. Like Milan's lineup, the official lineup is we have Donnarumma in net, Calabria, Simon Kjaer, Tomori making his return to England, Diogo Dalot making his return to Old Trafford. And then we have Frank Kessie and Sadiu Mite. And then we have Rade Krunic, Brahim Diaz, Alexis Salamakers, and Rafael Leao. Essentially, like those names I just said right there, true starters this season. There are about 3 or 4 true starters, and the rest are all like rotational players.
It's a lot of different names from 10 to 13 years ago when you see the likes of, Wayne Rooney, Ronaldo, Scholes, all those guys, on Milan's side, the legendaries of like the Kakas, Inzagis. It's I saw someone post a graphic comparing the 2007 lineups where they met in semifinals, if I'm not mistaken, in comparison to now, and it's very different to see. Obviously, I think we were spoiled, like I said, back in those days where it just seems like world-class players were just constantly everywhere, and again, on both sides. Whereas now I think United are a bit better off, but it's if there's one team I feel like I can always relate to in terms of their, I guess you can say decline and now resurgence, it would always be United. And it's kind of funny because, we kind of share a similar history, colors,
Devils,
and whatnot.
Devils.
Yeah, so we're kind of almost like they're our English cousins in a sense, you know what I mean? Like I always kind of, if I have to relate to someone in the Premier League, I'd always be like, it's United. Similar, constant, having legendary coaches, like, obviously they had Sir Alex Ferguson and we've had great coaches, but then there's constant coaching change, poor managerial decisions, upper management. So if there's one, it's funny, one team I always say we're going to relate to, it's United. So it's kind of funny that we picked each other out for this tie. So it's going to be really interesting. It's I'm excited for it, but I'm also quite nervous. So
I also have a lot of respect for Manchester United too.
Of course,
there's a lot of respect. Like just to put it, like honestly, for example, if I had to cheer for a Premier League team for a season or whatnot, or for a match, like I always hope that Manchester United does well. I think it's one of those clubs that didn't rely on like all this money coming in just to be important. They've always been an important club, and when a guy like Sir Alex Ferguson, a lot of respect for a guy like him who coached for so many years, which you just don't see anymore.
Yeah,
like you just don't.
Guys, to be honest, it seems like even more respect for Man United than I do. Yeah, it's been absolute kind of misery for the last while being a Man United fan, and the same with AC Milan, because obviously I wouldn't follow AC Milan. I've been them on Football Manager a couple of times and stuff like that, and so I got the background of the club then, and I was obsessed with Italian football in the early 2000s as well, when like AC Milan were one of the best team, probably the best team in the world from about 2003 till maybe 2007-ish, maybe before Barcelona took over. But especially with Pirlo and Gattuso and Inzaghi and Maldini, all these incredible players. But like, you've fallen off since your last title was 2011 or
2011.
2011,
I mean, we won a the Italian Super Cup in 2016.
But in terms of most notable, it'd
yeah.
definitely be the league in 2010, 2011 season.
2011, yeah.
Yeah,
and
that's not too far off.
Funny enough, that was Zlatan's last season with Milan, and then now he's back. So,
and now you're top of the table again. So
no, we're not. No, we're
not.
We're 6 points back now.
Why? How?
Yeah, honestly, the last couple of weeks we kind of.
It's kind of been an up and down roller coaster.
Yeah, we've had a lot of injuries as well. Like his squad it's not a deep squad, and when you have 4 or 5 injuries, they're in a thin.
They're
squad.
kind of overachieving at the same time. They're also doing well with what they have. So it's honestly I don't want to say roller coaster because they've been first for like 21, 22 games, and now we're second. So I can't be like, oh, we were first, then sixth, and fourth, and ninth. But like it's just been. It's just hard when you have a team that's not poised to win the league and that's constantly first, and you gain expectation like, oh, we might do it, but in the back of your mind the real goal is Champions League, and then who doesn't want to fight to win the league, right? Like it's all like this is why you play the sport. So it's kind of up and down, and then injuries suck, and obviously everyone's having to play more often, with the COVID year and whatnot, and I'm sure United has to go through the same problem. So it's not only Milan's affected by this. I mean, every team's affected by it. So I think that's a perfect segue into what I was going to bring up, and Joe, I'll let you go at it first to get the United perspective. But it's actually similar to what Nathan Raya just posted as a comment, saying I think Milan have a real shot with Man United having injuries of their own. Of course, we just kind of went on a tangent about how both teams are quite injured. So Joe, I wanted to ask you if you had to give a prediction of how this game would go and then carrying over into the second leg. What is your honest prediction of today?
I think we're in a similar situation with I don't really rate Serie A as good as it used to be, because Juventus are supposed to be the best team in there and they can't get past whatever the quarterfinals or the last 16 in the Champions League. So it's hard to really gauge how good that league is at the moment. So I would compare playing Milan to playing Sociedad. Similar injury problem to Sociedad had as well. And it took us a little while to get into that game. They came out in the front foot, but we ended up winning 4-0. I think that could easily be the way tonight goes, but it could also very easily that we just fall apart and it ends up being.
No, I don't know. No, I don't. I think Milan are going to set up to try to get a draw here. I'm going to be honest. I don't think
really.
There's no way Milan. No, with our lineup, there's no way Milan can go and play attacking football today. Like, I'm doubly honest with you.
But United struggle. Well, I guess, more so the way it's going to go is Milan will sit back and United can't ever do anything against a low block, and then because we need to hit in the counter-attack. So if United don't score early, then it could be a struggle. But I think if we get one and we get one early, I think it should be another sort of safe through to the next round.
I agree with that. If my fear of Bruno Fernandes turning into prime Kaká today against us, because that's just what I'm envisioning. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm sure Joe, you would love for that to happen. But
100%.
In theory, I agree with you. If United get a quick goal, I think it just kind of shatters Milan's morale. Be like, well, we kind of knew this was going to happen, with our situation. But I feel like it is an interesting point. I do agree, like what you're saying, United they're looking for the counterattack, sending those balls, having Bruno kind of lead the way and send those long balls up front and kind of just create from up there. So I feel like if Milan could pull out for a tie or even somehow scrape an away goal, that would be massive. My prediction is 2-0 United today, but as well at the same time, if I'm going to be like devil's advocate and say Milan get an away goal, I could see it also being 2-1 as well.
Yeah, I can see
And
that.
then it really sets up the second leg, because obviously if Milan get an away goal, that's massive. But then United have the chance to get away goals in the second match. So I think it's just a matter of who can scrape out being healthy enough for next week and who could recover enough players for next week.
That's true. It's true.
Right.
I
So
don't know.
it's kind of a battle. I feel like you're going to just, I can honestly see it being a feeling out process today and just being like, well, if United don't concede any away goals and they just can recover everyone for next week, they'll absolutely try and bury us at home. Whereas if Milan could be conservative and try and just escape a goal or even just a 0-0 draw and try and recover some people for next week, I feel like next week can seriously throw us back to 10, 15 years ago, some insane battle, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Who have you got in the weekend?
We have Napoli, so it's not an easy.
Geez,
yeah, we're kind of, and unfortunately, unlike the Premier League, the Premier League, I'll give them credit. They do a great job of marketing and taking care of their teams. Whereas in the Serie A, unfortunately, obviously you want internal competition in your league, but you also have to remember we kind of have to. Apart from Juventus, because I would never root for them in the Champions League, but we kind of have to, unite together in a sense of, hey, if you're playing on Thursday, why not move the game to Monday instead of playing Sunday? These guys are going to have to travel tonight, get back to Italy on Friday, and then they're going to have to train and then play. Where it's like, help each other out and just be like, hey, let's move the game to Monday so you guys get an extra day rest. But unfortunately, the league is not that competent. So
but especially with no fans,
but
with no fans, you can easily move a match too. Like it's not like
of course,
you don't have any. You don't have any.
That's what my anger is, because I see it all the time. Like my friend is a West Ham fan, right? And even them, they're not in any competition, and sometimes they'll end up having to play on a Monday. And I'm like, well, you're not even in a competition. Why are you playing on a Monday, right? And it's just interesting. A team with no competition will sometimes end up playing Monday, obviously scheduling wise. But realistically, if you want to preserve your team and make them do better representing Italy in Europe, you would say, hey, you know what? Let's move the game to Monday, right? Just to help our league out. But it's extraordinary to me that they don't take those measures. So I give the Premier League credit for that, because I know. Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, Joe, but I know they're better off at doing that, protecting their teams, right? So.
Well, no, 100%.
Who do you have at the weekend?
West Ham on Sunday.
Ironically, you have West Ham.
Yeah.
It's tough because we have so we go Manchester United, then Napoli, then Manchester United, then Fiorentina away. So that's a very tough. I think we have 4 matches in 12 days. It's tough.
Which is insane to think about, right? And these guys have been taking a beating. And
with a thin squad and injuries are piling up. So it's going to be and that's the thing too, is that in the Serie A title race now, I don't know if Joe, if you watch, but Juventus got knocked out by Porto a couple of days ago.
That's right.
Crazy match. So they don't have any European competition, so they have an advantage. And now Inter got knocked out in the Champions League group stages, so they don't have any competition. So the teams that we're kind of battling with in Serie A there for the top 4,
they're free.
They're free. They only play once a week, and we're playing twice right now. So I don't know. It's tough, and like Mike said, we have overachieved. We were top for 21 weeks. It's a long time, right? But the team was overachieving. I think the goal always was top 4 for us. We don't have a squad. We have a young squad, right? We're very, very obviously with the exception of Zlatan, but aside from Zlatan and Simon Kjaer, we have a very young squad. You look at Donnarumma, Calabria, Tomori, Romagnoli, Teo Hernandez, Kessie, Rafael Leao. These guys are all under 25 years old. So it's kind of one of those years that our goal was top 4, but then we were first place for 21 weeks. So then we started the dream again, kind of thing, right? So obviously, I think Inter's the strongest team, and they're 6 points up now. But Milan, the goal for Milan is obviously make as far as a run as you can in Europa League, and because there are a lot of fans who say, you know what, screw the Europa League, let's just go out there, play a squad. If we lose, we lose. For me personally, I don't want to do that on global television against a great team like Manchester United. I wouldn't want to fold up like a lawn chair kind of thing. But I think that it's going to be a tough match either way. I mean, even if we had all of our guys, it'd still be a tough match.
Yeah. See, that's what I want to ask Joe from a United perspective. because we're similar in the sense because you guys are also second in the league. Obviously, City are like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm from what I
They're
last
going to win the
remember,
league. Yeah.
they're like what 11 points clear.
I think it's 12 points. It's not like they're safe. Do you know what I mean? They're
Yeah,
not
but
going to catch up with them.
it's
Yeah.
quite substantial. So this is why I
Yeah.
want to ask you, Joe, because I'm interested from a United perspective. So you're, let's say, 12 points back. Obviously, you still have a strong team. It's not like, hey, you're gonna fall off, or I hope not for your sake anytime soon. But realistically, now looking at it, you have the Europa League and the league, right? Knowing that they're 12 points ahead. You as a fan, or what you read from United fans, what's the general take? Are we saying, hey, you know what? We're probably not going to win the league, so let's make a massive Europa League push?
No.
Or are you guys kind of saying, screw the Europa League, let's just go guns blazing for the league and try and catch up to these guys? I'm really curious to know what the consensus is.
See, for us, it's all about progress. It's all about
Right.
like winning a trophy is probably the most important thing.
Of
We
course.
were discussing this last night on Wall of Reds, which I host on All for United. That would you prefer the Europa League or would you prefer the FA Cup, or what's the
I think
there, because we know we can't win the league.
Yeah, but
Sorry,
who cares? Like in England, it's weird because in England they put a lot of emphasis in the FA Cup. Like in Italy, like the Coppa Italia, like teams usually don't care that much about it in Italy. Like they don't put a full strength lineup too often.
I think it's the opposite because the English teams usually go pretty far in the Champions League, whereas
they do.
The Italian teams aren't going as far. So they say, screw the domestic one. We need to represent Europe. Where not that the English teams don't care about Europe, but
it's money as well.
Yeah, of course. The revenue sponsors is like the Carabao Cup or whatever.
The Carabao,
I'm sure that's a massive revenue stream as well. Like just title sponsor winning that in comparison to right?
That's we'll go to some comments here. So Clinical Striker says Milan will have a horror game if they don't start the game with any sort of pressure or try to create a chance in the box and fluster their backline off the get-go. And then Kevin said that we'll end up defending the whole game, just asking to concede. Although I do realize we have no attacking depth for the second half. Yeah, see, that's my issue too. And Rafael Leao is pretty lazy. Joe, when you're gonna watch today and you're gonna say, "Wow, these guys."
Watch him all of a sudden have a masterclass performance.
Honestly,
I would look like a fraud.
I would love it, but Joe, you'll probably see our striker number 17, Leao. You'll see that he's pretty lazy. I don't know. In where you are, is there stadium sound when you watch?
Europa League, I don't think so. In the Europa League, in the Premier League, there is.
I know. I know. There's a fake sound, so I think you'll be able to hear the coaches yell, right?
Yeah. But they'll be yelling in Italian, I imagine. So.
Yeah. So you'll hear a lot of Milan's coach yelling Rafa, bravo, Rafa. So that basically what he's doing is trying to motivate Leao, our striker.
For taking 3 paces, he has to motivate
him. He literally literally claps him on, bravo Rafa, die, Rafa, die, because he's trying to make him get more motivated. But hopefully Leao, a lot of raw talent. A guy with a lot of raw talent. The only thing is he's a bit lazy. I don't know if you can compare it to any Manchester United players.
I was gonna ask Joe about Martial leading the line.
I knew.
Instead of without Rashford tonight, I was gonna say, are we looking at a similar comparison with I feel like Martial is definitely clear of Leao, obviously, but realistically, I was gonna ask you what we're describing to you, is that something you would relate towards Martial, or because obviously he's leading your line tonight?
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever thought of him as being lazy. I just always thought of him as being more so when things aren't going his way, he just sulks. But it feels like he sulks and he's not representing himself the best, I suppose.
Constantly needs a pick-me-up, right?
That's kind of it. And he's not good with dealing with challenges. When Zlatan came in, he faltered under that. When Cavani's in, Cavani's taking his space. And this is supposed to be Martial's season. So so I think it's more so his mentality need to change. And there are people who are mad about him. There's a huge split. I don't say split. I hate talk. I don't know if it's the same in every club. That is that the same in every club? In the Milan Twitter world?
Yeah, 100%. 50% are saying get him all. 50% are saying give him time or patience. So I think that's a natural thing between fan bases, to be honest, because I mean, these guys are human at the end of the day, right? We listen, they go through the same problems that we do. We kind of forget about the human aspect of the sport, but at the end of the day, it is a job, just how we have to perform in our jobs. This is their job as well. So, it's kind of, and this is, as much as a job, it's also you would know as well. It's a massive financial business. So it's hey, we're here not only to win trophies, but to make money at the end of the day, right? So
absolutely.
Whether it's Rafael Leao or Martial, and you're being lazy up there, and I can financially invest in someone else that isn't and can win me trophies and make me money, these teams have no problem in doing that. And I think both teams have seen that throughout the years of quick turnovers with players, wonder kids and whatnot. Both teams, again, that's why I say Milan United quite similar. I don't know, Joe, you could correct me here in terms of the name of like United's youth academy, but I know they're quite strong, similar to Milan's back in the day, of constantly producing or bringing up young talent. Yeah, Greenwood's another one as well.
Well, we have of the guys are on the bench. I know Show Thierry's on the bench. There's a lot of hype about him. And Diallo, who you guys should know maybe as he was at Atlanta.
Yeah.
What did you guys make? Was there any talk about him when he was at Atlanta?
You know what? To be honest with you, I was actually a bit surprised that United took a chance with that. How much money they spent on him? He dominated the youth league, the Primavera League in Italy, but he only played 25 minutes in Serie A. So it was kind of one of those things that United are kind of banking on him, his potential growing, and him being that future superstar kind of thing, right?
But
he was with Atalanta. I don't know if you ever watched them before, but they don't have they have a similar wage bill to mid-table sides in the championship in England. So and then they're against Real Madrid in the
they're essentially a feeder club, but they'll get the talent and end up selling them off, right?
But
they fight for top 4 every year. They're actually fighting for the Scudetto last year. And
they're quite weird.
I saw that.
They're quite weird
they kind of came out of nowhere.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Which is great.
They're honestly the Italian Dortmund. That's basically who they are.
I can see.
They end up selling their players to Bayern or World internationally, but they still somehow just kind of plug and play these players that they have and still able to be well enough, more than relevant.
Yeah, they have a good coach. I don't like him too much, but he had a good coach in Gasparini too, who he brings in players and they know they buy into a system, right?
Yeah. So Joe, how do you feel about Ole?
You know what? I feel like it's a mixed opinion. My one friend says, I like him as a guy. He's a decent player for United, but he's not a great manager. He's not a great coach.
Look, we're progressing for the first time since Sir Alex retired. He's got he has a clear idea of what he wants to do. He's working to get there. It could take a couple of years, but if we continue to qualify for Champions League, if we get the Champions League this season, it'll be the first time since Sir Alex Ferguson left that we've qualified for the Champions League twice in a row. Now we've always said the be all and end all isn't just being there. It should be about competing. But we're second in the table, finished third last season. If we finish second this season and the points gap is closer and we get a trophy, that's progression, and I'm delighted.
That's massive.
Considering he hasn't been backed properly, that's also a huge thing as well. So if he starts to get backed and think gets a bit better, then absolutely. Is he going to be the best? I think I always feel like I know himself and Zidane worlds apart in playing ability. Obviously, Solskjaer was a top-class player, but Zidane was one of the greatest players of all time. But I think at the same, he won 3 Champions Leagues in a row, and people are still like, is he actually a good manager? Do you know, or did he just have a good team?
You know what, though? I think he kind of had some little bit of luck in there, Zidane. I don't think he's that great of a coach, to be honest.
No, but you can't have 3 years in a row. Do you know
I know, but the team was so good. The team was so. I feel like I could have coached them.
But before he won the 3 in a row, they didn't win. They won it once in the previous however many years. Mourinho got to the semi-final. There's as good, if not better, teams out there. It's about getting them to play properly.
Fair enough.
Considering he won 3 in a row, and then you have seemingly the only 2 good managers in world football are Pep Guardiola and Jurgen Klopp, and everyone else is just kind of substandard to them. But I think that's what we're led to believe. But in fact, January.
I know what you're saying, Joe. Because realistically, you both brought up good points. So just listening, it's weird because Zidane, to the point, is it's a double-edged sword, right? The guy, obviously, like you said, one of the best players to ever grace a football pitch, and naturally that means, especially being a midfielder, attacking midfielder, whatever you want to call him, has a lot of knowledge on the way his game is played, especially as a midfielder. You kind of oversee both offensive and defensive responsibilities. So naturally, the guy is full of knowledge, right? Like there's no denying it. There's a reason why he's one of the greatest. So naturally, he's going to have advantage to, let's say, a coach that really wasn't nothing as a player, but actually a decent coach, right? But again, at the same time, you kind of look at the squad and you go, well, he didn't have to build up. And that's kind of my criticism of Guardiola all the time, is because I look at Guardiola and I go, this guy is literally coached all of the best teams. Now, I give him credit because, especially in today's modern day society, managing all these guys' egos and their branding and that stuff is actually a quite hard task, because a lot of these guys are more celebrities than, football players half the time. Right. So I'll give them credit for that. But like a criticism I have of Guardiola is, okay, you coached them incredible Barca. Then you went to Bayern and they went on a run. And now you've come to City with trillions of dollars constantly at your disposal.
Yeah.
I would love to see a guy like Guardiola. Let's, for example, use Milan and United, for example. Struggling the last couple of years, legendary team names, responsibility on the line to take these teams back to the glory days. If you, Guardiola or Zidane, can pull that off, then you have, like, what? Not only can you do it with the best team, because I think people undervalue how hard it is to coach one of the best teams. Because, it sounds easy, but to keep them in line and keep them concentrated when they have to play the bottom team of the league and then end up losing and be like, oh, well, how's this team losing, is quite hard. But at the same time, I would love to see these coaches take, like, a historic team like both of ours and the struggling years and take them back to glory. Then I'd be like, okay, you know what? But I think just to go back to the original point, I'll make it really quick. I think Ole and Pioli are very similar in the sense of these are the first two coaches that both teams have had that have showed continuity.
Yeah.
They've showed consistency. Obviously, there have been ups and downs, but to their predecessors, they've been the most consistent. They showed the most results. And the teams have both teams have been progressing. The thing is, I feel bad for them because if both teams, and I hope it happens for both teams, they start taking this real jump of being truly competitive again in both the league and the Champions League, it's going to come to a point where it's like, it's like you built the foundation, both Ole and Pioli, but we need Mr. X or whoever it's going to be to take us to the top. You know what I mean? And they're gonna be praised for that because they built the foundation that both hopefully United and Milan are gonna have now to reach back to the top. But I don't know if both these managers are gonna be the ones to stay for, let's say, Champions League or league glory.
I don't know.
I hope so, but I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's tough. It's funny because I just like on like looking at like the Twitter Manchester United fans, stuff like that. I wanted to ask Joe too, just to move on a little bit. When I saw that Rashford got hurt in the derby, which is a big win for you guys, by the way.
Thank you.
I saw some fans say, you know what, that's okay because we play better without him anyway. Is that a true statement sometimes?
No.
Or okay, no,
not at all.
I do watch it sometimes. I just wanted to know what the.
It sounds like a Twitter agenda.
Yeah, it's a Twitter agenda.
Yeah.
I saw like I saw more than one person say it, so I was like, okay, I want to definitely talk about it on the pod because like for what I've seen from Rashford, and I watch Premier League sometimes, I watch United. I think he's really good. I think he has a lot of talent, a lot of raw talent.
Also a good dude as well. Like
a really good guy.
Yeah.
What he does for the community and for the world and stuff like that in England, and he's a very good person.
Yeah, 100%. And we are better when he's in the team. He's been in and out of form this season, but who hasn't?
Yeah.
But like the fans, the United fans are the worst in the world. They'll tear down anyone. Like Bruno's been getting a hard time. Which is absolutely ridiculous.
Wow.
So no one's safe. No one's safe.
Yeah, no one. Yeah, it's the same with Milan too. Like
Madrid as well. Like they're going for Ronaldo's head back in the day. Sergio Ramos's head. Like
yeah.
Some fans don't appreciate what they have until it's gone. Right.
I remember when Iker Casillas was his last year in Madrid. He was getting whistled and booed when he was playing. It's like, are you guys crazy?
Yeah.
I remember that, but with Milan too, our captain Romagnoli has been under a lot of scrutiny because he's been playing kind of poorly the past couple months, and he's been kind of like our diamond in the rough in the past couple of years. Like he's been our captain, he's been our best defender, one of our best players. So now he's not playing insanely well, and so he's getting a lot of scrutiny. So I think it's kind of any big fan base, you'll kind of see that on Twitter. But I kind of want to move on to a tactical conversation. So I know that United, and from what I've watched, and Joe, again, I'm not an expert, you can correct me. but I've noticed that United kind of struggle when teams are playing like a low block, and kind of like putting a lot of bodies in the middle, like right outside of the area. And I've seen that United kind of struggle there because they're better like on the counter, using their pace, using their creativity in spaces, and putting the ball through the channels and everything. What would you say? Is that true, or what would you say?
Oh yeah, it's 100% we're a counter-attacking team. But as long as a team comes out to play against us, like to catch us on the front foot and try to actually play football, we can do well. We can beat them. We can beat pretty much any team on our day. We obviously still need better players to do it consistently. But when a team just sits back to hit us on the counter-attack, that's where everything can kind of fall apart. So if we get a goal in the first 20 minutes of most games, I'm very confident that we're going to win that game. But if we... Except the one glaring thing of that was when we lost the Spurs 6-1, where we scored in the first 2 minutes and then we lost 6-1.
I watched that match. Yeah, I watched it.
Yeah, so did I. Was fairly shite. So I'm looking forward to, if no matter what way Milan set up, hopefully they'll have a go, because we tend to do better when they have a go. But if they don't, we can.
I think like just prediction is Milan will kind of play that low block because they, if they're watching, film and stuff like that, they can kind of see that United. So basically, United are way faster than, especially with no Teo Hernandez at left back. Like Diogo Dalot is a big drop off, and there's not a lot of speed in the lineup today, and we just won't be able to handle like a Greenwood counter, even like I know James. I know he's not a great player, but he's quick. I know kind of like a lot of United fans kind of like he's kind of like a meme player a little bit from what I see. Like when he scores, it's like, wow, these guys let Ben James score on them. That's what I see. That's what I see and what I hear from friends who are United guys. I don't know.
It's not really as bad as that, but it's not that much better. It's he's still he's still young and he's still working his way, but we all know that he's not the future.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like he's not our start 11, but like he plays with 100% heart. He plays with everything, so you can't fault him for that.
But he's quick. He's quick as hell. So,
he's quick. So
there's no way that we can we're playing with Tomori today, who's also quick. So obviously he kind of knows the English game, and he's buddies with a couple of these guys like Greenwood and whatnot. So he probably kind of knows what to expect. But I think that if I had to make a prediction, that's why I think Milan's going to set up today. I think Milan are going to kind of keep Kessie and Mite as the two midfielders. They're the holding midfielders, kind of just in the center of the park, and kind of just play like a low block. I think because I actually watched like United against. I remember about a month ago it was against Sheffield, and Sheffield kind of did exactly that, and United had no answer. I think it was at Old Trafford as well, I believe. Is that Old Trafford? Yeah, it was. It was at Old Trafford. You probably. I think they lost 2-1. I think 2-0.
2-1. Yeah. Thanks for bringing that up.
Sorry. I'm sorry. But I'm just like a tactical now, and like Milan. With players that we also I'd say are we can be a counter-attacking team depending on who we're playing against, but with the players we have today, I don't think that's possible.
I just feel like we kind of take what the game gives us.
Yeah, essentially.
If the opportunity is there, then we'll take it. And I feel like, Joe, I want to ask you, because it's been over a year. So, like, if you're not used to it, these guys are used to it. But, like, in theory, if you're not used to it by now, you kind of need to get used to it. I feel like I'm doing, like, an analysis for Milan. I'm about to, like, tell them everything that you're telling me, right? But realistic, all jokes aside, I'm curious. Have you are United feel less pressure when they play at Old Trafford because there's no fans, or do you feel like that's been a benefit to them, or do you feel like it's literally had no impact whatsoever?
Well, considering that we still can't win at home, and that's kind of always been a struggle for us for years now, since Ferguson left, we can't get consistently winning at home. So I don't think the fans really have affected that. I'm hoping that when they do come back, there will be a huge boost,
right?
And which will allow the team to improve our home form, because we haven't actually lost away from home in the Premier League since January 2020.
Okay.
So it's our home form is the major issue, but we sometimes see moments where it's like we just hold on to it. If we just keep on doing better, right, it will improve. But
I think it's funny you say that, because like Milan have really struggled at home this year too. Our away record is impeccable. We've only lost one match away, and it was against Spezia, who just got promoted. We haven't lost an away match till then. And at home, we've actually struggled. We've drew a lot of games we shouldn't have.
Especially because it's the Europa League. That's kind of why I posed this question, because, the league is one thing, but once you start playing, European teams and the aura of the, it's the Europa League, but still, like we've mentioned at the beginning of this, when it's two major teams playing against each other, whether it's Europa League or whatever it is, you got two big teams playing against each other. The atmosphere, the nostalgia, the everything, it just builds it up more. So it's kind of interesting to see. Obviously, I mean, I think would love to know what this game would have looked like, a packed Old Trafford and the next week at a packed San Siro, how these games play out versus, just unfortunately just stadium sounds and whatnot. So I wonder if that gives a guy like Martial less pressure and feel more confident to perform. Not that, the United fans are going to boo him, missing on a sitter. Same thing on our end with Leao, right? Having been performing quite poorly, but now knowing that there's not that much pressure going away because there's no fans, right? So it's very interesting. That's why I always I love to hear people's takes on it, because I don't think there's a right or wrong answer, because obviously we literally will never know. But it's just interesting to see how some teams adapt and some players adapt to no fans, especially in the games like these. And when you're playing like a lower end team at home and you need that extra fan push, whereas now you don't have it, and maybe a lower end team to screw it. We're not expected to win. There's no fans. There's no pressures. Let's try and get a result. And it seems like who knows, right? So it's gonna be how that played out today.
I just wanted to go to the chat quick. We had a couple messages there. This guy, Arnaud, he's Arnaud, thanks for joining us again. You're always good in the chat. He said that maybe Leao is hyped for once, and that
I would hope so.
And then the clinical striker said that I can see Leao having a top game to get that Old Trafford clout.
Hey, you know what? if there's one place you want to truly perform,
the theater of dreams.
Yeah, the theater of dreams, but also just playing against a Premier League team, right? Like, everyone could discuss how great or poor their league is. You could be fans of your team, but obviously you're gonna, back the league that it plays for. But realistically, let's be honest, the best advertised league is the Premier League, right?
Obviously,
you really want to play well in as an opposition is against a Premier League side in their stadium, because Sky Sports, the BBC, everyone's gonna be talking about you, right? So hopefully, I hate to say this, Joe, but hopefully the Milan players think about that and maybe but at the same time, that goes the same for United next week, right? So
so
absolutely.
Then Arnaud kind of said that we were talking about. He said like Pirlo has a good squad. Look what he does. It then deserves credit. And then Nathan said that Real Madrid won the Champions League with Ancelotti too. Whatever. And then Arnaud also said that a salad maker hat trick.
I would love
Alexis, honestly, Arnaud, you should go on Bet365 right now.
That's probably a 7,000. That's probably like Leicester winning the Premier League type odds.
Hold on. I know why. I'm gonna look while we chat before. I'm gonna look right now what the odds are for a freaking salad maker hat trick. It's not happening. But you know what? I'm just gonna look at the odds of the match. I think, Milan are the. Whoa, jeez, what the heck? Okay,
while he looks that up, Joe, I just because I don't know much about your backup keeper. How is he?
He's pretty good.
Henderson, he was out on loan at Sheffield United for the last couple of seasons and was excellent. Yeah, he was excellent, and it was always kind of seen as the natural progression that he would take over as number one, and then De Gea is off, and then so he was playing in the cup games, and De Gea was doing the Champions League and the Premier League.
So is that almost like those like random things in football where it's like it's almost like I don't want to knock De Gea, but is it almost a blessing in a sense? Like, almost I'd rather have him, or you'd be like, you know what, I want De Gea.
Well, I think it's just the fact that De Gea is obviously is a dwindling force. He's not going to last forever, and we just need someone that can come through. And obviously, De Gea can still do stuff at the moment, but we need to look to the future. And Henderson, I think, is 23 or 24.
Oh, so, wow. Okay. He's really young.
Yeah, and he's doing great. He's doing wonderful things. So it's
shit. Okay.
So sorry guys, I looked at Bet365. So Milan are a 7-point underdog tonight.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
That's I thought about 4. That's a lot. That's like.
I mean, have you seen our lineup?
No, I know.
That's me and you to join the bench.
Let me see for here. Let me go down. Okay, here we go. Goal scorers. Okay, for. What the? Oh, okay, here we go. So for Rafael Leao, to score a goal, just for example, the odds are at anytime 4.5, 450. Alexis Salamakers is at to score the first goal is a 90. It's 19. So you put $10 on it. Hey, that's decent.
That's decent, yeah.
I don't even know if we're gonna score a goal at all.
I don't think so.
You might want to save your money.
Okay, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Bet365, but they have guys who aren't even in the squad on these bet things here. They're just stealing money at that point. People are gonna bet on these guys. But yeah, no, it's gonna be a tough match. Obviously, Milan are heavy underdogs today. And by the way, guys, Alexis Salamakers, a hat trick, okay, is 251 point odd. 251. So
I'll just put £1 on it, hope for the best.
If you put $2 on it, put $2 Canadian on it, you'll get over $500. That's not bad. That's pretty
not
good.
Bad at all.
Good.
It's easy money, and it's definitely going to happen.
Yeah, imagine that.
Everyone listen to Joe.
Yeah. Honestly, Joe, it's gonna be. I honestly, I hope for football's sake, I hope it's a good match. I hope it's a fun match. Just for the neutral in general. It would be nice. My hope is that the match is good, so it sets up a good second leg. I don't want the tie to be over in the first leg, kind of thing. I want to have two good legs,
no,
and the best team wins, kind of thing.
No, I'm fine with it being a crap game that United win. That's fine with me.
Come on.
No,
I can't blame the guy.
Nah, I know. I'm kidding. I know. I honestly, it's how it is. So you know what? Before it's about 20 minutes to match time here, we're gonna wrap things up. Let's see. Just download a bet stuff. I have no idea how this shit works, but I know I'll make my money on Milan somewhere.
Yeah, put all your money there.
Yeah, I put $20 on Milan losing. No, but so I know we kind of talked about it before, but let's go with official predictions. I want goal scorers, and I want when they're going to score and the final result. Joe, we'll go to you first. And you can look at the lineups. Yeah. You can help and look at the lineups, and I want to see what's your prediction. What's the score? Who are the goal scorers, and when do the goals happen?
I'm gonna. Do you know what? I'm gonna say 3-0 to United. I'm gonna be optimistic.
On our own podcast. On our own.
Damn right.
Podcast.
Do you know what?
I love
4-0. 4-0.
Oh shit. Okay.
4. Okay. Who's scoring? Who's scoring, and when are they scoring?
I'm gonna say Martial will score twice. Harry Maguire and Greenwood.
Okay. And when are they scoring? First half, second half, both?
I'd say 2 in the first half, 2 in the second half.
Okay. We'll go Mike. What about you?
I'm going to say 2-1 United. I'm going to go Bruno Fernandes.
Penalty?
No, surprisingly not. I'm predicting a disgusting 18-yard box bender free kick. And then I'm expecting Martial to score in a corner kick, like a rebound tap in.
Jeez.
And then on our end, I'm actually gonna go with Leao getting a little 1-2 play with Brahim Diaz in the box. He's just gonna kind of tuck it in, and then that's it. But
and then he's gonna start rapping.
Yeah, and then he's just gonna start taking a nap on the pitch.
Yeah, Joe. By the way, Leao, he's a rapper. He just released his album a month ago.
Oh wow! Okay,
yeah, he's trying to launch his. So every time he plays like crap, we always say, okay, maybe you should just go do your rap career then. Okay, so I'm gonna go 3-1 United final score. I'm actually gonna say that Milan score first. I'm gonna say Milan score first. I'm gonna say it's gonna come through Brahim Diaz, just like a shot, just like a kind of like a broken play. I think Milan are gonna come out strong. Then I think United are gonna score one on the counter at least. We're gonna make a mistake and get caught out, and it'll be someone like Greenwood. I know Greenwood has 2 good feet; doesn't really have a weak foot, so he'll kind of score like a left-footed in the corner, low in the corner. I think Bruno Fernandes is gonna score a penalty, and I think no, I'm being serious, and I think
we have one of our own too. Don't worry, we have Frank.
Testy. We have Testy. It's gonna be a penalty shootout all game. And then I think United are going to get they're going to score the third one from an own goal.
That's grand.
Own goal, and then 3-1 with an away goal kind of makes it for a decent tie in the return leg in Milano. So that's my prediction. I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think if anybody has in the chat quick, they can put their prediction quick before we wrap it up. But yeah, obviously, I think it's going to be a beautiful match. There's not really much else to watch today in the Europa League for matchup wise, so I think all eyes are going to be on this match here. I know there is actually you're based in Ireland, Joe. There's actually a pretty big club, a Milan club, Dublin, I believe so.
In
Yeah,
Dublin, yeah. They're based out of the Woolshed, actually, which is a pub in city centre. So that's where a huge amount of Italian community around there. It's where the AC Milan fans meet and the Juventus fans meet. And every so often, when pubs are open and life is worth living.
Or did you mean fight?
They watch it and then fight.
Yeah, and we got a prediction of a Scott McTominay goal. That's
absolutely
rare, he doesn't score much. He
doesn't. He's good amount of goals. 7 or 8 goals this season.
Scored 2 against City. Remember that?
No, he didn't. No, he scored 1 against. No, he scored 1 against City last season, and he scored 2 against Leeds. He scored against Arsenal.
Leeds scored 2. My bad. Yeah. I remember that. Okay. Yeah. So hopefully it's a good match. About 15 minutes off from kickoff. First off, to everybody listened up and was active in the chat, thank you so much. Thanks for the comments. Thanks for the funny comments in the chat. It definitely helps us when we talk. Joe, honestly, really appreciate you coming out here and speaking with us.
Pleasure.
Again, I really appreciate you taking the time. Hopefully, your prediction comes true. I hope it doesn't.
Yes.
And yeah, again, we really appreciate it. And if people, if any United fans are here, shoot us a follow on Twitter, TheMilanGuys. We're kind of we talk about football. We talk about Milan, but we talk about football too, and memes and all that good stuff. So
also follow Joe's stuff as well.
Yeah, so Joe, what's your handle, Joe?
At Acting Joe, but also please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm a writer and an actor and stuff like that, and I've a load of short films I've made, comedy films mostly.
Oh, even more content. Give them a follow, guys. And
okay. I didn't know you were. I know. Okay, so you do comedy. Okay, perfect. So
I'll send them to you. Yeah, I'll send them to
you. Please send it to us. Yeah, no, I didn't know that. And Lucas is Forza Milan. Okay, perfect. Yeah. So honestly, thanks to everybody for listening. TMG Podcast episode 31 pre-match. If you guys like a pre-match thing, maybe we can kind of do this some other time as well. And maybe if we link up with United sometime again in the future, we'll bring on Joe again.
Absolutely.
But yeah, anyway, this podcast is also going to be on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, everything else when it's uploaded. So please tune in, subscribe to us there, subscribe to us on YouTube as well, TheMilanGuys. And yeah, Joe, good luck today. Mike, thanks for coming out again.
Thanks so much.
And we'll see you guys soon. Thanks so much. Forza Milan.
See you guys.
Ciao.